Good morning, everybody. Good to have you with me. We'll wait a couple more minutes, just a little chit chat, ad-libbing. We need a warm-up act. I know what I can warm up with. Today is Veterans Day, and everybody says thank you, and that certainly is great. But I'm gonna tell you something. In all the years I've been doing this job, the different people that we have encountered, my team and I, especially with the National Guard, has been remarkable, and all the different times they have helped out in various situations. And the one I remember the most was Gustav back in 2008. Mike Watkins and I were in downtown New Orleans, and that's when we used to have the huge boxes. The camera systems weighed like 70, 80 pounds, and you could only put four of them in the back of the Tahoe. They were so big. And we were getting ready to put one down on the Mississippi River, um, and down at this waterfront area. I can't remember the exact location, um, some park or what. Anyway, the New Orleans was evacuated. Pretty much nobody there. That was remarkable too. And we pulled up, and there's all these National Guard folks around. Mostly young men, some women, of course, but mostly young men. And the Tahoe was the Tahoe. It had all the stuff on it, and you knew exactly who we were. And a couple of the guys came over, and they were very excited. They were into the weather, and they were just weather geeks. And they asked their, I guess, superior, sir, can we have permission to take a minute and talk with these guys or whatever? And their commander said, "Yep, that's fine." And then they came over and they switched from being very soldier-esque, like perfectly disciplined to, "Oh man, we're like weather geeks. This is so awesome." It was a really interesting interaction. And then we were getting ready to put the camera box up there on the corner of this platform area. I just can't remember off the top of my head what the area was called. And they wouldn't let Mike and I do it. They did it. They insisted that they each pick up these boxes, and I said they weigh 80 pounds, and they wouldn't let me and Mike do it. They did it for us, and it's one of those situations where you can't tell them no. And I'll never forget that. And just interacting with them. Um, I was on my way to Rita, and I stopped and talked to some of the National Guard folks in Gulfport, Mississippi. And there's just been other interactions that we've had after Hurricane Michael. I was sleeping in our vehicle, and Brent was actually on top, and National Guard showed up and checked on us to make sure we were okay. We were at Mexico Beach. Anyway, so happy Veterans Day. That was my warm up, my little ad lib here as we pile people into the lecture hall. I like that analogy. I'm going to go with that forever. How many people we got in the lecture hall? 36. Kind of a slow day, right? Slow day, but you know what? It's going to pick up when I do this probably Thursday because I got to travel this week. I'm going up to New York to visit with Fox Weather on Wednesday. And when I get back Wednesday night, this will all start to be coming together, what we're going to be talking about here. A lot of interest. I bet you the lecture hall is going to be busy Thursday or Friday, whichever day I come back and do this live. So anyway, what do we got out there? New area of interest in the Caribbean Sea. So I figured this morning I'll show you what I'm looking at. And by the way, I delayed it until 11 because, truth be told, I wanted to sleep in. I stayed up kind of late last night. I watched Back to the Future Part 2 with my 9-year old, and she had already seen the first one, and trying to explain to her all these different breaks in the space-time continuum and all that stuff. That was fun. And we didn't get started until about 10:15 last night. And so we didn't get done until after midnight. And then it takes time to wind down. And I'm like, you know what? Let me just sleep in. So I woke up at 8 something and posted on our Discord that we were going to do this at 11. Anyway, normally it's around 9 a.m., but it's a federal holiday. Got to sleep in. But yeah, we do have some stuff to talk about that's going to catch a lot of people's attention, I think, over the coming days. Hurricane Center already has this area up to 40%. Already mentioning that D word, depression, tropical depression. And so let's talk about it. Let's discuss. It's the morning discussion. I do need my telestrator, so let me get that active. There we go. And nice. All right, so let's share the old screen. Get back over to the browser. Hey, we're up to 54 people in the lecture hall. Nice. Welcome, everybody. So yeah, we're watching for Sarah. That'd be the next name on the list. We are officially, by just the smallest of margins, in the hyperactive realm. And I'll talk about that in the afternoon update, show you the ACE score and all that. But this could really, I think we're going to get Sarah here. This could really, depending on how strong it gets and whatnot, put us solidly in, trying to get a better color, hyperactive territory and get us a step closer to using up all the names. And you never know, you get a couple of systems out there in the open Atlantic later in November and into December, and we might exhaust the list. But well, I'll talk about that more later in the afternoon update because I'm going to prepare a couple things. Today is just more the morning part's just loose, just kind of like, all right, what do we got? And this is exactly what I would do without an audience. I'd come in, I'd look at everything. Oh, what is this showing? And whatever. So that's what this is for, by the way, this morning discussion. Um, so this map here, this interactive map, is the points of origin going back to 1851. That's the best data we've got from ships and logs and, you know, not logs like wood, you know what I mean? Ship logs and records dating back to 1851. Certainly the satellite era from 66 on is our best data, but there was enough ship data and different log keeping all around the islands down here, and then once the uh, colonies were settled, there's pretty good data. And what's interesting about this, let's just look here at the first 10 days of November, the points of origin. It's not zero, not even close. All right, but that's the first 10 days. That's come and gone. How about where we are now? This is perfect because we're starting the next third of November, and it gets to be less and less at this point. So we go back to November 1st to the 10th. There's quite a few. But then the next third, which is where we are now, this is what we see. And a majority of these formations did happen down here in the Western Caribbean. And you can see the various tracks that these systems have taken over time. This time of year, things do get chaotic. But notice there are a couple that do go into the Gulf of Mexico. One of those is Kate in 1985, and it had its origin, I think, like way out here. So that's not even in the Caribbean. The other one was in 1916. So, that data, it's good, but you can't really rely on it too much. And then the third one is Keith in 1988. I don't even remember that. I was living out in Las Vegas in 1988. I thought I was going to be a rock star. That's a whole other story. It's in our documentaries. Anyway, so Keith was 88, and that's it. You know, you had other ones that came through in the Caribbean, and some of these take some pretty weird tracks. And one of these in here somewhere has got to be Lenny. Yeah, there it is, 1999. Wrong Way Lenny went from west to east, and was a pretty big deal there. You remember that? So that carries us through the 20th. This 10-day period. So there is some precedent, though it's not much. You go back to 1851, and there's one, let's just count the Western Caribbean, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10, and there could be a couple that were missed, whatever. That's not a lot when you think about 2023 back to 1851, but it's not zero. And you think about this year and how busy it has been lately, it is no surprise that we have this. And this is the 2-day outlook. Of course, the 7-day outlook, and it is up to 40%. And so it would be orange. And we'll look at that in a minute on the Hurricane Center site. But what's fascinating to me is, look, we got this down here. We just got rid of Raphael that came up and, whatever, all through here. Major hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico. But we also have this out in Colorado if it'll pull up. Feet of snow. This is one of our permanent cameras. By the way, that right there, that's Pikes Peak. Yes, it is. And this is our friend Scott, and he hosts this camera for us out in Black Forest. I was there several months ago, met Scott again with my friend Matt. Matt hosts the other camera for us in Parker, and very, very busy out there with snow. And yet, we're talking down here in the Caribbean, the tropics are still very, very active. Just that's just wild. I mean, 2024, it has failed to disappoint, right? It has been very, very crazy in all possible categories, from the weather to the politics to whatever else we can scare up. I mean, heck, there was a big earthquake in Cuba yesterday, right? So anyway, got a lot going on. So this is what it looks like. The It's not popping up on the 2-day outlook just yet, but it is showing up here on the 7-day and 40%. And again, they're talking about that a tropical depression could form late this week as whatever this is moves slowly westward. So what are we looking at? What is the origin of this? Generally, it looks like it's this energy right in here and more energy coming in from the southeast, and everything's just going to kind of pile up right over here, and everything's ready. The upper level environment's healthy. Look, there's the leftovers of Raphael, by the way. Um, and I'll show you that more this afternoon too. We're going to look at some close-ups and prepare yourselves. You're going to look at the bones of a dead hurricane. It's interesting when you put it in that perspective, but we'll look at a nice close-up shot of that. But this is the energy in here and maybe some down here. All that's going to pile up, and we could be looking at another system, you know? Now, this is interesting. I was like getting everything ready to pull up my vorticity map, and it dawned on me I don't want to ignore the parade of cyclones way over in the western part of the Pacific. Several of them over here. Let's mouse over these guys and see what we got. Let's first see if I can pronounce them. Tropical storm Manyi. All right, should start doing bets. Is Mark going to get these right? And no, I didn't. And this is 27, so that's easy. Doesn't have a name yet, I guess. And then, tropical storm Toraji. That's an interesting name. And then tropical storm Yinqing, I guess. So you got these four cyclones over here in the West Pac, and then we are getting ready to add one in here probably. It's looking pretty likely. I mean, looking at the guidance, holy cow. So let's do that. Let's look at the guidance, all right? So this is the 6Z GFS. Now, one of the benefits of me, I'm going to stop share for just a second so I can get full screen, doing this at 11 a.m. is that because we moved the clocks back, synoptically, the 12Z guidance is starting to come out right now. So I might be able to talk long enough that we can actually look at the 12Z GFS as it's coming in, and then I can compare that. I just got to burn the clock a little bit here. And then I can compare that to what the 6Z showed, and even maybe back what the 0Z last night showed. So let's go back to the 6Z, let's make that very clear. 6Z GFS. So this is, initialized at 1 a.m. Eastern time. And this is that vorticity 5,000 foot vort area that I like to look at. I tell you what, the remnants of this cold, and it just takes hours each day for everything to clear out. So annoying. But anyway, um, we're making improvements. So there it is, the leftovers. Looks like a fried egg, doesn't it? Of Raphael down in the Gulf. And then all this energy just scattered around in here. And then there you go. Look at that big old high there. This is so typical of what we would see in August or September. There's Bermuda. So you put a big old H here, Bermuda high, sets up shop. And usually to the south and west of that, you get development. It's just, I mean, you can just pick this out, like mugshots in a lineup. Oh, there's the suspect. It's very easy to see. And we go look at the upper levels. It's also, duh, pretty darn favorable through here overall. Now, look, the reason that Raphael went bye-bye is the upper level winds are just a little too strong up here in the vicinity of where Raphael was. Down in the Caribbean, still got this big anticyclone sitting down here. and you can see the streamlines. Yeah, I mean, it is just as favorable as you could ask for. Yet, it is November the 11th. That's the thing. Like, what the heck? But as I showed you, it's not unprecedented. So let's go back to the 5,000 foot level, and let's move this out to just 3 days. So 72 hours out, and the GFS starts to develop this large area of turning. Everything starts to try to come together in the Western Caribbean. By day 4, I mean, it's just well on its way, tucks its way in there near Honduras and Nicaragua. Look at the height line there. It makes a nice little hidden Mickey. That's hilarious. Today's update not brought to you by Disney. There's a little Mickey there. That's funny. Nature's weird sometimes, isn't it? So that's day 4. Then finally by day 5, you know, it looks like we're off to the races. This thing sets up down at the low levels. The structure's there. 200 millibars. Again, you just can't ask for a better pattern. The upper levels, especially for November, very favorable through here. Outflow, everything can get whisked away. The upper level energy can get pulled away. Excuse, you know what? Got the water bottle. Let's just take a little drink here. I'm gonna have to move these updates to like 10 p.m. when I sound like my normal self. It's whatever, man. Screw a damn virus. I'm serious. Who needs those? Wherever they came from in evolutionary biology, they can just go right on back. So yeah, I tell you, it's a good thing I'm not on network television because that would just suck. Have this leftover cold crap. Anyway, focus mark. So there we go. Upper levels are certainly there. That's day 5, and then finally by day 7, it is a bona fide problem sitting down here, big rainmaker perhaps for um, Central America. And you notice the ridge sitting up here to the north, blocking it for now. But there is certainly, because we are getting towards late November now, this is the 18th, there are indications that that ridge would move and that would dislodge this thing and it would start to pop out in some direction like this. We'll just put a big arrow there. We'll see. This is 1 week right here. Now, interestingly enough, the euro at the 90, this is the 6Z as well. This only goes out 90 hours. It also develops a very similar setup. And I like this because it's every 3 hours. It's so smooth there. Um, it piles all that energy in there in the Gulf of Honduras, and that's the 6Z. If you look at the 0Z last night, it uh, it really takes this thing and develops it. And you think about, let's look at day 6, just or day 7, like the GFS, a very similar evolution, a little bit further out to the east. But there's your ridge up to the north, and yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to watch this. Complete agreement between both models that something is going to develop down there. So there's no wonder that the Hurricane Center has that. All right. Now, the other part of this, we have to look at it and go, well, is this even possible? Come on. It's November. And the answer is yes. The anomalies map really tells the story. Still very warm relative to average down here. But folks, this up here is absolutely cuckoo. Seriously. It, we've warmed it back up. I mean, I wish I had saved these maps right here. I'm gonna have to go back through some of my videos and just crop them out because I could prove it to you that and you remember we'll get to this in a minute. I'm getting ahead of myself. But anyway, this is warmed back up here. Like I'm not even joking. And it's not because the sun was stronger or whatever. It's the flow. We've had this big high sitting out here, so you're just pumping the flow out of that warm Caribbean, and so it's no wonder that stuff has warmed back up. It's not a mystery. I know why, but the fact that it has warmed back up by a degree or two in reality is interesting because it could affect what's coming. And the anomalies have gotten even stronger through here, especially in the northern Gulf Coast. Relative to average, this is November 10th, these anomalies are almost off the scale. We're getting to the far right side of the temperature scale there, 3-4 degrees Celsius warmer than average. Now, the actual sea surface temperatures, and if you remember, and I'll go back through some of my other videos because I don't think this data is archived anywhere. This particular map right here, it's a bummer. I don't think it is. I'll look for it, but It's in my videos. I'll find it somewhere. The 26 Celsius line just a few days ago was pulled away from Florida. It was something like that, roughly. Now, and it matters, it does, it's back so that it's touching Florida again. 26 Celsius, that's important. 26 C, that's your 79.5 Fahrenheit or roughly 80, and that's what you need to sustain tropical cyclone activity. And the same thing up here, it was just slightly south of Louisiana. Now, in some areas, that 26C line is back up right next to Louisiana. And it really hasn't pulled too far south up here. It's just remarkable. So, a couple things about this. One, that's what helped to fuel the big mid latitude storm that gave Denver and vicinity all that snow. No, no kidding. You got all this available moisture down here and it gets pulled into those storms. And then, as far as the tropics go, it is definitely still warm enough down here, and certainly around Cuba, for tropical cyclone activity. And the 27 Celsius line's right there. That's 81. Why do I bring this up? Because we've all seen it. We all know. I'll just run it on out. I'll show you. The GFS and the Euro both show something very similar. The potential threat to Florida in the long run. There's no reason to just pretend it's not there. And especially when we can talk about it in context like this. Now, obviously, this is a week out. That's 10 days. A lot can happen. We know that. But it looks like something's going to develop. And then we just have to see how the pattern evolves and what route this takes. But this right here and this right here tells me we definitely need to be watching this very closely. So let's go back over here. And we got the 12Z coming in. And let's just take a peek real quick and see what the GFS is showing. Hey, we already got it out to a week. See, I burned enough clock that it's already out to a week. So what are we starting with? There's our energy right here. There's your leftovers. This is live. Like this is literally as it's happening. This is exactly what I would do, like I said, even without an audience. So let's run this out and see if we get a similar result. There's 72 hours. Again, starting to come together east of Central America. 96 hours, even more so. And by day 4 or 5, very similar now to the Euro. And then there it is, sitting on the north coast of um, Honduras, Nicaragua, at the border area, roughly, just in the southeast part of the Gulf of Honduras at 1 week out. I mean, yeah, we're going to have to watch this very, very closely. So let's stop the screen share, come back on, get over to YouTube, see what people are saying. How big is our lecture hall now has 126 people. All right. Welcome everybody. So yeah, let's see what you guys are talking about. We'll scroll back up just a hair and I'm just kind of reading through for a little bit. Good to see everybody here. St. Lucie County. Yep, still cleaning up from Milton, Southwest Florida. I'm sure you guys are very keen on this. Puerto Rico, Christian down there from Puerto Rico. Terrific. Great to see everybody on here. So what do we got? 12Z GFS has this sitting in the Caribbean, not moving much for several days before a trough picks it up. And will it hit Florida? We will see. That's exactly right. Rodney's on it. That's the one thing. There's a lot of complaints from people, and I guess I understand it, that you look at these long range models, people post graphics, and it's like a 10-day whatever. Part of me says, yeah, you probably without context that stuff can be, I guess, harmful. Maybe people get anxious about it, but you also have to give people credit. Most people are pretty smart and they can pick up on this stuff. They watch my videos, they watch Dr. Cowan, whoever, Mike's weather page, and you learn stuff. You learn what to look for. And you can go and look at, a Euro run that brings it at day 10 in the Florida Straits, and oh, well, that's 10 days out. It's probably not going to be exactly there. But the good thing is you're paying attention, right? I think that's the positive of having access to 16-day model data. Hey, if it's a way to get people to pay attention and focus on the science, even if people don't exactly understand what they're looking at, I don't know. I just think it's a good thing. So you see, like what Rodney was saying, will before trough picks it up, will it hit Florida? We will see. Exactly. We'll see. We'll all see together. So there you go. Hey, I appreciate that, Christina, that I'm a help to you guys. That's what I'm here for. Um, so that's about it. Oh yeah, I'm gonna make sure 'cause I'm looking at the YouTube screen. There we go. Now I can see myself. So that's it. That's the morning discussion where we've got more to talk about and more to track over the next several days. I will have an afternoon update, of course, today and put everything together. We'll look at all this 12Z stuff. I'll do it later in the day so that we have the 12Z Euro as well, and that'll be good. Spam calls coming in. Don't you love that when just yeah. Anyway, I forgot to put my phone away. It can be a distraction, but we'll look at all this stuff and we'll see what we see. And again, as I was saying at the beginning, if you missed it, tomorrow evening, jumping on a plane, heading up to New York City. Going to go up and meet with Fox Weather on Wednesday. It's just a planning session. I try to do this every fall. Take a look at the year that we had and think about the next year and some new tech ideas. And then I'll be back Wednesday night. I am not taking the laptop with me, so no update at all Wednesday. It's just, traveling around New York. It's just easier to go with just a tiny little bag and my toiletries, and that's it. So no update Wednesday, but certainly an update later today, certainly tomorrow. And I don't even get on the plane until 5 o'clock. It's a straight shot to LaGuardia from here in Wilmington. Nice and easy. And then Thursday, yeah, we'll know by Thursday. This will really start to gain some traction, I'm sure, on social media, and we'll see what we get. A potential threat to South Florida, maybe the Cayman Islands, and really, let's not forget about that. I know a lot of people watch from Florida, but you have Cuba down there, the Cayman Islands, Jamaica, and if it does a wrong way, Lenny, Puerto Rico could be in play. You never know. And I don't know how many people watch my channel. Do they even get YouTube in Cuba? And I'm not even being facetious about that. I don't know. I know they don't get it in other parts of the world for various reasons, but let's not be totally focused on, oh, is this a US problem? And if not, I don't care because I care, because, um, well, we do. We got people that live in these other areas and we got to make sure that they are aware as well. All right. So let me get back over to the exit screen here. And there we go. I will drop my video first if I can figure this out. Maybe. All right. Video gone. So you guys have a good rest of your Monday. I will be back this afternoon, of course, with the regular update, and we'll see what we see. All right. As always, thanks for tuning into this. I appreciate it, and good to see you. And have a great rest of your Veterans Day. Again, like I said at the in the bantering at the beginning, thank you to all of our veterans. Some of you I've met in person, and yeah, we appreciate it very, very much. Have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you later this afternoon on the update.